All right, so we're going to start actually getting into the writing process. And we've just been for a long time just practicing writing introductory paragraphs, but now we're actually going to start doing actual writing of 5 paragraph essays. And so we're going to do them, they're called informational performance tasks. And if you were at Tooele last year, I know you did this with your teachers. So the first time through, I am just going to model exactly what you're going to be doing. So I'm going to be stopping throughout the video and asking you questions just to see if you're following along or you're understanding what I'm doing. But when you're given an informational performance task, there's steps that you follow. And the first step is you need to find out what you're going to be writing about. So each performance task will come with directions to start with. So, like I said, I'm going to be reading through the directions first and asking you questions as we go just to see if you're understanding it. Okay, so like I said, when you start the writing process, you're going to have the directions. So I'm going to be reading these to you. So here's your task, and task means your assignment. Okay, so what does task mean again? That's right, task means your assignment. So it's very important to read these directions. All right, so it says your school's history fair is taking place soon. Your class had decided to focus on prehistoric people. You become interested in learning more about the development of Neanderthal people. You found 3 sources about this topic in the school library. After you've reviewed these sources, you will answer some questions about them. Briefly scan the sources and the 3 questions that follow, then go back and read the sources carefully so you'll have the information you will need to answer the questions and complete your research. All right, so it tells you what to do first. And then it says in part 2, you will write an informational article about using details from the 3 sources. Okay, so it tells you you're going to be writing an informational essay about the information included in 3 sources. So, how many sources are you going to have to get information from for this assignment? Yep, 3. So just like we were practicing last week, you're going to have to read 3 articles to get the information. Okay? All right. Here's directions for part 1. All right. It says you will now look at 3 sources. You can only look at any of the sources as, it says you can look at any of the sources as often as you like. All right. After looking at the sources, use the rest of the time in part 1 to answer 3 questions about them. Your answers to these questions will be scored. Also, your answers will help you think about the information you've read, which should help you write your article. You may refer to the sources when you think it would be helpful. You may also look at your notes. Okay, so let's see. All right, so they haven't told you exactly what you're going to be writing about, but you do have an idea. Okay, because look up here. It says your class decided to focus on prehistoric people. And it says you become interested in learning more about the development of Neanderthal people. Because it's really important, even before you start reading the articles, to understand what your assignment is probably going to be about, so you can be thinking about the information that's important in each article. So what's the subject? What are you going to be writing about? That's right, the development of the Neanderthal people. Okay, so what we're going to be doing over the next couple weeks now is going through the entire process. So starting tomorrow, we're going to go through each source, and I'm going to be asking you questions about the information that we're reading in each source. Okay, and then After we read the sources, I'm going to scroll through this. After we read the sources, we'll talk about what the directions are, what you're going to be writing about. Okay? And we'll go through I'm going to walk you through the entire writing process over the next week or so, so that you guys can actually see what you're going to have to be doing in a couple weeks, and you're actually going to start writing essays yourself. Okay? So, again, one last question for you coming up here on the screen, and then make sure you let the video finish so that you'll get credit for watching it, and Edpuzzle will score it.